Kristin.
So loud.
Can you see us?
Hello?
Hello?
He's still really loud.
Okay, how about now?
Are you just testing the voice?
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
This is my first time, Kristin, doing a...
This is your first time? You're a virgin.
Hey, why you're so... Okay, can you... I cannot hear her voice.
Okay.
You're too soft-spoken, Kristin.
I'm soft-spoken?
Maybe is it on my
I think
end?
that's the first time anybody's ever said that to probably me or you.
Okay, hold on. On my end, I need to make it loud. Hold on. I cannot hear what you're saying.
Okay, make it loud.
All right, I think make it louder.
Louder?
Make it the
This is Max.
The max. Make
Yeah.
the max.
This is not
Yeah, this is my first time, Kristin, with Skype. What is this called?
Skype.
Skype.
Podcast.
Skype.
Oh, Skype?
Skype. First time Skype with Kristin Stampini. The legendary Miss Kristin Stampini. All the way from Florida. What are we going to be talking about today? Should I be prepared for something?
Yeah, we're gonna do 2 episodes. Okay, they're gonna be 20 to 30 minutes. It's just gonna be like you and I talking, right? So I'm gonna lead you, and then I'll ask you questions along the way. So it's just really stuff obviously that you already know. The first episode that we'll talk about is how to develop the best core values for a successful business. Which you obviously can talk a lot about, and then I'll ask you questions along the way, like how you did it, and what made whatever. I feed into it, and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna introduce myself, then I'm gonna introduce you, and then I'm gonna introduce your first podcast, and then we'll close it up, and you'll give information how somebody can reach out to you, because obviously we want this for referrals. Agents are going to be using it in their training. So a lot of the agents actually show their teams my podcast to teach their agents. Okay, so they do that. So at the end, you're going to give them, your information and everything like that. And then the second one, we'll do the tips and tricks on building a successful real estate team. So how you've done that, over the 10 years pretty much, and how you have become where you are today. Sound good?
Sounds good, Kristin. Will I be able to see you?
You can't see me.
So I'm just talking to myself.
You want
Yes, we're on air. Can you see us?
Yes. Podcasts are not seeable.
Okay.
I see.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
This is a phone conference.
I see. Okay.
Oh, only for
Okay. So basically what's going to happen is, we could do Facebook Live.
I am doing Facebook Live now, Kristin, just so you know you are live.
You can still know but we would have to do me on one side and you on the other side of Facebook Live. That wouldn't really work.
Oh yeah, that's way too complicated for me.
But you can do whatever you want on your side. I'm going to do little snippets of this after we're done, and to promote it, and to utilize it, in marketing and things like that as well. Okay,
It's gonna be awesome.
What I'm going to do is I am going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce you with your bio that you sent me, and then I'm going to tell you what the episode is going to talk about, and then you're going to talk. I'm going to ask you questions. We'll close it up. How can they reach out to you if they have more questions or anything else on core values? And you just send them your website or whatever you want to do, and then we'll start episode 2. These will only be 20 to 30 minutes each, and it's just really providing as much content and value to the listener as much content and value to the listeners. Now, our listeners, for the most part,
Hi, are you there?
so it's a perfect time to, by what you're saying. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a lot of the people who are going to be listening, just so you know who the audience is, Rudy, is going to be other real estate agents. Okay, so when you're talking, who to be talking to. But I also want, especially when you're developing, culture in a business. It really doesn't have to just be for real estate business. Obviously, it can be for any business out there. But much of our listeners there are consumers out there that are listeners, but much of it is the real estate industry. Okay, so agents and stuff like that. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll
Should I be prepared for this?
No, it's better that you aren't.
Okay.
Because people like to listen to people that aren't prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like to listen to stuff that you and I are good, and we have good energy, and we talk a lot. So we'll kill it on every single podcast that I've done so far has done really, really well. And people aren't prepared; they just know what they're talking about. And then I just come in and I ask you questions.
All right, Kristin.
Okay, so I'm gonna start, and you'll know when I say this episode I will discuss with Rudy how to develop the best core value, and that's when obviously you'll talk. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Well, welcome. I would like to welcome my listeners and thank you for joining us today for another episode of my podcast, The Stamp of Approval. I'm Kristin Stampini, co-founder of the Stampini Platinum Real Estate Group with RE/MAX in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm also a certified real estate coach with the Craig Proctor Systems and the owner of Global Virtual Real Estate Assistants. You may have heard me on the radio, and I'm also a real estate investor, a national trainer, a public speaker, and a certified inside sales agent trainer. So the Stamp of Approval podcast was launched just a few months ago, and it was to help educate other realtors and consumers and actually other business owners across North America by sharing value and content to my listeners in each and every episode to bring you the best of the best in our speakers, as well as share my experiences and triumphs and my failures in life and throughout my entire life of how I am where I am today, and also with having a sales and a great mindset. So my guest today, who's also a great friend of mine, who is Rudy Kusuma, he is a $1 million agent, a broker owner of RE/MAX Titanium, the millionaire agent maker real estate company, dedicated to teaching his agents how to make multiple 6- and 7-figure incomes by selling real estate out in California. Rudy has been named as the #1 team leader in California by RE/MAX LLC. Rudy and his team have sold over $1 billion in transactions. He has been awarded multiple top producer awards, including the top 5 team leaders in RE/MAX worldwide out of 110,000 real estate agents. RE/MAX Titanium with Rudy Kusuma's home selling team has been recognized in 2016 and 2017, and most recently, also 2018, is 5,000 fastest growing private companies in America. Rudy Kusuma is the co-author of the #1 international best-selling book, The Soul of Success, Volume 2 with Jack Canfield. Rudy Kusuma has been featured on ABC, NBC, Fox News, network across the country, on his guest appearance at the Brian Tracy TV show, where he discussed the real estate office of the future. So today, this episode that I'm going to be talking to Rudy about, we are going to talk about how to develop the best core values for a successful real estate team or even business. And the culture is the key to a successful business. Welcome, Rudy!
It's a pleasure to be here, Kristin. So much fun on my first podcast here.
I am so excited to have you. Oh, you have such great energy, and I know that my listeners will absolutely love you. So today, what I'd like to discuss with you, because you're so good at it and your team absolutely loves you. I was just there recently, right? And I saw the culture of your team. And, I just get goosebumps even right now sitting here and knowing how awesome your team is and what you've developed and the culture that you have developed with your team and what you've done and how you've done it. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Hey, so you are right, Kristin. When you were here last week, as you know, I'm truly standing on the shoulder of giants. These are the men and women in our team every day. These are the most hardworking people that I have fortunate to be associated myself with. So when we talk about culture, we are talking about how we do things around here. And I think most of the mistakes that most teams, most organizations do when they talk about culture is that they put something on the wall and they try to modify behaviors. They try to change people from the outside. So here in our team, when we talk about culture, we talk about who we truly are, right? So it's who you already are. And then what's on the wall is just a reflection of what you truly are from the inside. So the culture, we are talking about how you attract team members, but that depends on who you are first.
Let's start, actually, Rudy, let's go ahead and start with, how did you decide what your core values were? And how did you go from there to hire and then develop the culture of your team?
Yeah, so first thing we do, we get together our leadership team in a room, just like what you experienced last week, Kristin. So we had a conference, our 3 days conference. We lock ourselves up for 3 days, and we just go around the room and we ask, who are we? So for example, we came up with a long list. We came up with a list of maybe about 30, 50 of who we are, and then we narrow it down to the top 10. So for example, we came up one of the things as we went around the room, we asked about who are we? We talk about professionals striving for excellence. We believe that everything we do, we always do it in excellence, right? We talk about, you came to our conference last week. You can see those are all our people. We don't hire an outside production company to produce that. And then how do we serve our clients? We talk about core values number 2, care about each other, meaning when somebody, how do you know you care about each other? Well, when we look at ourselves, we know somebody's getting pregnant, somebody getting things happen in their life. Yes, we expect excellence in our daily lives, but we don't shoot the wounded, which means that if you're part of our team, and then yes, every day we expect you for excellence, but then if things happen in your personal life, we embrace you, we get together, we pray for you. In our team, we have our prayers team who always, we make sure that we love you and we care about you. And then the next core values, we talk about go to the extra mile, Kristin. So I'm not sure,
Hold on just a second. Let me ask you a couple questions, because I saw it firsthand, right?
Yeah.
So number 1 is very impressed. You guys get in a room and you guys decided as a family or team what those core values were going to be, because what was important to you all. So it wasn't just you, it was you and Vinny, it was all of you that put that together, correct?
Yes, and you brought up a good point, Kristin. You talk about team and you talk about family. Here in our team, we really call ourselves team, because think about it. You are not, think about it. You are not the family. We don't disconnect ourselves from a family. But a team, we expect people to perform at excellence. They know this is a professional work environment. We know, we embrace that. In fact, later on, we'll talk about the 4 group of people that we are serving. So we are a team. We are not a family. Sometimes when people try to be cheesy, they say, well, you're family. Well, you're not my family, right? Because if you're my family, if you're my mom, I won't fire you from if you're my mom, and vice versa.
Right, and you know, that's a good point. And one thing I really saw with the team is everybody really wanted to help each other, right? To help each other, and they shared their successes, the different people on the team. But also what I felt in the culture, obviously, that you have developed, is I felt that, somebody had been, he just became a U.S. citizen after 30 years, right?
Oh, yes. Chris.
That was amazing. So you guys had a big celebration for him and recognized him, correct?
Yes, we truly, yes, that was really fun. He's waiting for 30 years, and finally at that conference last week, he earned his citizenship. That was amazing.
It really was amazing. And it was amazing to watch everybody involved. The other thing was, it's every quarter, you guys are number 5, worldwide with RE/MAX, and you take every quarter 3 days that you just spend with your team on growing and teaching and learning and coaching, right? And you guys basically shut down so you can give the best to all of your clients out there, right? So you've developed that culture of education.
Working on your business. working on your business. Every 3-4 months, we shut down our office for 3 days. Think about it, Kristin. Can you imagine the amount of payrolls that's on that room for 3 days?
No, that's right. That's right. And you did such a great job. So you brought in different people because what is happening right now in California? The market is starting to really change, right?
Yeah. Yep, the market is changing and we are always one step ahead of the competition. We don't believe in competition, Kristin. Competition is for the average. If you want to be successful, you got to dominate the marketplace. If you want to be the 1%, you got to do what the 99% of the people don't do. You see, Kristin, most real estate agents, they are so busy on a day-to-day, they're working in their business, right? And then what we do in our team every 3 months, we pause and we work on our business because one of our core values is striving for excellence. We are talking about go to the extra mile to serve each other. Humble and trustworthy.
Okay, so that's a good point. So what are your core values?
Yeah, let me run through it and then after that we're going to talk about each one. The first one, we are talking about striving for excellence. The second one, we are talking about truly care about one another. The third one is about to go to the extra mile to serve the other. We are talking about the second mile service. Core value number 4 is humble and trustworthy. Remember, there are many people in our team, as you saw last week. Everybody in our team, we have young people doing extremely well, but humility is important because otherwise, I've seen so many people in the team before, right? In real estate, everybody is making so much money and then it crashed basically, right? Because of humility problem. And then core values number 5 is being coachable and eager to improve. Being coachable and eager to improve. In fact, one of the reason people in our team becoming successful is because of their being coachable. And number 6 is never gossip, right? Gossip is having a conversation about somebody when they are not there. That's gossip. And then the core values number 6.
Also,
yes.
Do you look at gossip as going to somebody else and talking to them about something that they can't solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
The issue.
Yep, that's called gossip. Talking about things. So, for example, I have issue with my appointments. Then I'll talk to the admin staff team. That's not solving the problem, right? So gossip, we really take that seriously. And then core values number 7 is respect the opinions of others. And then the core values number 8 is openly share our thoughts, open communication. And then the last one.
And I want you to go through each of them, but let me just say one other thing.
Yeah.
When I walked into that room last week for those 3 days, you could feel the energy, the excitement. You could feel working, on your team and how much everybody loved it. But also it was surrounded by your core values. So you posted things everywhere. So everybody knows what that is, right? So they know what the core values are and what your mission and the vision is of the team.
Yes, and without vision, in the Bible it says, with no vision, the people perish. Think about it. With no vision, the people perish. The people perish, Kristin. So here in our team, our mission is to elevate people's life. And then we ask the next question is who? Who are the people that we are trying to influence? Think about it. Many people trying to develop their core values, but they don't even know who are the people. So who are the people? There are 4 groups of people in when we develop our core values, we keep in mind there are 4. It's kind of like a table, right? There are 4-legged stool. The first one is our clients. We have to keep in mind the first group of people is our clients. The second group of people is the team members, the people in our team, the team members. The third one is our vendors, our vendor partners. And the last, number 4, the group is the community. So one of our core values is be generous. So those are the 10 core values. But when we develop those 10 core values, Kristin, we keep in mind the 4 people. So we go back. The fundamental, the basis of this is with no vision, the people perish, but then we ask, who are the people? And then we came out, and then as we reflect back in our business, there are 4 group of people. It's the clients, the team members, the vendor partners, and the community. If you remember when you came to our office last week, at the back, right around in the edge of the room, you can see our vendors partners are involved on that conversation. In fact, on day one, we have a conversation focus on our vendor partners and the community.
Oh, I love it. And you know what? You're so right. And so can you break those core values down a little bit and explain what they mean to you?
The core values?
Yes.
Yes, the first one, striving for excellence. Anything worth doing with excellence, right? So either you do or you don't, right? So that's the first one, everything we do with excellence here. The second one, we talk about truly care about one another. When we talk about truly care about one another, we talk about being sympathetic. We are talking about, you witnessed it last week, and those are not made up, right? Remember, what are core values? Core values are who we truly are. When we developed this core value, we found out that these people in our team, they truly, genuinely care about each other. So we just put it there. Last week, you witnessed Chris Solis getting his citizenship for 30 years. And there's so many stories like that, Kristin. And so I know these people care about each other. The next one, we talk about going to the extra mile. When we talk about going the extra mile, I think, I don't know, share with me your experience. When you came here to our office last week, one of our operation team leaders knew, take care of that. How was your experience as far as going to the extra mile? I hope somebody picked you up from the airport. I hope somebody stayed in the hotel. Like, how did it go?
So it was like, okay, so Kristin, we want, tell me what is good for you, what day do you want to fly on, and they went out of their way to make sure that they set me up on, the airlines and...
Who picked you up? Who picked you up from the airport?
You guys had some driver pick me up.
Yeah, those are, just so you know, Kristin, just so you know, I did not get involved with that. Actually, one of our leaders here, I think knew, was the one who's arranging the whole thing. So those are an example of going into the extra mile. And when we talk about working with our clients, home buyers, for example, as you know, most real estate agents, they only show homes that's available on the internet. Here in our team, we always ask this question to the agent in my team. Every time we do a training, we ask this. If the buyers buy a home with our competitors, are they eventually going to end up with the same home anyway? Because if the answer is yes, then you don't go to the extra mile, then you are useless in this transaction. So here in our team, for example, going to the extra mile, when somebody is thinking of buying a home, in addition to homes that they can see online, we give them access to homes that they cannot see online. For example, for sale by owners, expired, canceled, withdrawn, homes previously listed, new construction, and stuff like that. And then the next one in our core values, we are talking about being humble and trustworthy. There's so many, most recently, sometimes when you are successful, when you become successful, people making money, then it's easy for human nature to become cocky and stuff like that. Then that's when we have to make a decision we have to remind people that which one is more important, the core values or the skill. If we have to make a decision between skill and core values, we pick core values all day long, Kristin. We terminated relationship with team members who don't. So the reason we come up with the core values is because this is how we hire and fire team members. Right? So humble and trustworthy is hard.
Talk about that a bit. How do you hire people from the core values?
So we are using this. So we are going through this check mark here. Because if you come in here and say, hey, I'm so good, I'm the number one, whatever, but then we have issue with humble and trustworthy, for example, right? Or being coachable, then we will not onboard that. Or and you know what, Kristin, sometimes it's hard. Because when we run a sales team, we know if somebody bringing in money, right, somebody closing deals, then the tendency of that team leaders is to keep somebody like that. But what if that person is toxic? What if that person is not coachable? What if that person is not being humble? Now you as a team, not just the team leaders, but you as a team have to make that decision to basically terminate that relationship. And then the next one is being respectful of other people's opinions, and then listen to and support one another, and openly share our thoughts. That's why we have every time, if you remember, when you came to our conference, you remember we sit in a round table, right?
That's right.
we sit in round table, because the reason we sit in round table instead of in rows in a classroom setting, because we want to encourage that collaboration, that team spirit, that together. And then the last one is being generous. I'm not sure if you know, Kristin, that every single person all the introduction that you did just now was really awesome. The fact that our team has been recognized as the #1 and then Inc. 5000 fastest growing company. But you know what's more important than all those? Because at the end of the day, when you and I die, we are not going to be known by the number of homes sold, but we're going to be known by how many. The question is this: how many lives, how many souls have you touched while you are here on earth? So the last core values that we had, I think, is the most important, which is be generous and always do the right thing. So just so you know, people in our team, every single person, everybody, we never ask money from our clients, but every time we close escrow, every time we buy and sell homes, we take a portion, each one of the team members take a portion of their income from their pockets towards a mission. In this year, 2018, Kristin, we built 6 medical clinics. We serve over 3,000 patients to help in deep villages in Indonesia, in South Africa. I was born in Indonesia. And so we adopt that. And locally here in Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, we were named as the #1 fundraising office for this year. So that's more important, Kristin, than all those the number of homes. Because if you help other people to get what they want, you get what you want. And at the end of the day, when you and when I pass away, I don't want to be known as the guy who sells thousands of homes. But the question is, how many lives have we touched while we are here on earth? What's the purpose of your life, right? I think at the conference you touched that. What's the purpose? Why you're doing this?
That's right. And actually, we did talk about it at the conference a little bit too, because you and I both want to change people's lives. And we want to be a part of watching people's lives change because of what we're doing. And that is so important to both of us. And I think we both, discussed that last week at your conference as well, which was awesome. So for our listeners, this was so good. And for our listeners, really talking about the culture and how it's, one of the top keys to success. For the closing, what can listeners that really don't have a culture, or maybe not even a good culture, what are some key takeaways that you can give them that they could implement today in developing the culture of their team?
Yeah, everybody, every organization, every team already have a culture. So what is the culture is who you are. So if there's any other teams watching this, we have many people now, Kristin, on Facebook Live watching this. My question is this: look at your team, get together with your team now, with your leadership team or with the team, and ask, who are you? You already have a culture in your organization. A culture means who you are. A culture means how we do things around here. That's what it means. Don't be somebody else. Don't try to copy somebody else, because every single one of you, every family has a culture, whether you write it or not. Every family, every relationship, every companies, every teams already have a culture. You just have to pause, get together with your team and ask yourself, who are we? And then you write it down. And then you boil it down to maybe the top 3 or 5 or 10 max. But don't go more than 10, right? But 3 to 5 to 10 max. Who are you? So that's the first thing I would recommend.
Okay, that's awesome advice. And what if they maybe have a culture right now, but unfortunately that culture needs to be, they need to bring in maybe some different people or some different energy, okay? Because it's more of maybe down culture or not a happy place that people want to work. What can they do to work on changing, the culture of the people that are there?
You gotta change. It's a decision. You gotta switch. It's basically a flip of a switch, right? So not too long ago, our team. So we just have to make a decision. You as the leaders, you have to make a decision if there's a toxic behavior in the team. And this is the problem, Kristin. When people are greedy, when I say greedy, I'm talking about if you work for money then you won't be able to, because sometimes maybe the person with this bad influence, with this toxic behavior, maybe they're bringing money, right? So you don't want to lose that revenue, so you actually hang on to that bad behavior. But I'm telling you, if you're willing to let go what's good, that's how you make your team becoming from good to great to excellence to completely changing. You truly live your life while you are still on earth to live your true purpose in life. But if you are greedy, when I say greedy, I'm talking about, I understand, right? There's bills to pay, and so most team leaders, Kristin, they hang on to this toxic behavior, knowing that's toxic, but at the same time, they don't want to lose. They're afraid of the revenue. But I'm telling you, the only way to go up, the only way for a rubber band, the law of the rubber band, right? So the only way to go up, you have to clean up. Sometimes you got to clean up the house, and then that's how the team is going to grow. You got to let go. You have to be willing to let go what's good, so your team could be great and excellence. And that's not easy.
That's awesome.
That's not easy. I know that's not easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if people have more, first of all, Rudy, if you can give people, your information, where you're at in California. Also, if people are looking at, possibly talking, to joining an amazing team, right? You're hiring as well.
Oh yes, and 2019, Kristin, so as I'm talking to you, right, this is the advice for people in my team. We have people in my team watching this as well. So here in our team, we have over 35 family, part of our outside sales team. We have 11 people in our inside sales team. So we have about 70 people in our team New Vision. But then in 2019, how can we serve more people? Then our mission in 2019, Kristin, is to help more real estate agents to grow and develop their own real estate sales teams, because we are using Team New Vision as a platform, as a sample, as a prototype, because as you know, there's a huge problem in real estate industry today. Many real estate agents trying to build a team, and they go to their coach, to their manager, to their brokers, and as you know, most of the brokers and managers, they never even sell homes successfully, never mind coaching other people on how to develop a team. So in 2019, our mission is to help 50 real estate agents to grow and develop their own real estate sales teams. So to do that, you are welcome for a backstage tour of our team, so you can see how the team system works. All you need to do, call 626-789-0159. Kristin, our office is in San Gabriel Valley, and basically we are building teams all over Los Angeles County and Orange County. So people in LA and Orange County, if they want to build their own 7-figure real estate sales team, we are using Team New Vision, because basically there's a credibility, right, Kristin? There's a like who are you coaching me to build a successful team? Well, we have done it for the past 10 years to build Team New Vision, and now I want to partner up with 50 different team leaders here to build their own team.
That's awesome. Okay, so everybody out that's listening, thank you, listeners. Reach out to Rudy if you want to, learn more about the culture. Like he said, he invites you in to see his culture firsthand. So anyways, thank you all for joining us today, and we will talk to you later. Thanks, listeners.
Thank you, Kristin. So should I log out?
No, you're still on. Okay, so now we're going to go to the second one. That was good.
So is this live on your end?
No. It's going to, I'll send you the, no. So I'm going to send you he's going to send it to me, and then
I see.
Send it to you, and you can do snippets out of it like I'm doing, right? So I'm going to share it to you from Dropbox.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I see.
Okay, and then what we're going to do is the podcast, that's not how podcast works. Podcast works where we put it into iTunes and people listen to it on their drives and everything else. So that's what's going to happen. It doesn't go live.
Oh, I see.
That's not how it's, okay?
Okay.
And so the second one, but you can take it and you can take part of the snippets to use for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristin.
And then what you do is you send them to iTunes, which I'm going to give you the link, and that's how they listen to the actual podcast. Okay? So this second one, we're going to just do, again, just like what we did. but it's going to be talked a little bit about building a successful real estate team and how you've done that. Okay.
Building.
And then we're gonna pretty much just walk through. That was really good, Rudy. Okay.
Real quick, Rudy, I'm gonna end this this call and then call you right back. Okay?
He's
Okay.
gonna call you right back, Rudy.
All right. Thank you. All right, guys, that was my first time being interviewed on a live podcast with Kristin Stampini. And I think there's a second session now. I don't know what he's going to ask, right? This is completely not prepared. All right. Maybe we should answer this, huh?
Answer.
All right. Audio. Video.
Answer.
Hi.
I can see you.
You can see me? Can I see you?
I don't know. Can you see me?
I cannot see you. Oh, hi. Hi.
How are you?
It's good. This is fun.
This is how you can see me.
Oh, wow. You're...
Okay, so here we go. We're going to start the same way, but now we're going to talk about tips and tricks on building a successful real estate team. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to start the exact same way because it's going to be a new podcast episode. Okay, so let me know when.
Turn the video off. So, okay, there we go.
Okay. Ready?
Check your mic.
Hello?
Rudy, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
I can't hear him. Hello?
Over there.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I can hear him.
Rudy, say a couple words.
Hey, Andrew is the best podcaster in the world. Kristin Stampini, I'm having so much fun today.
Okay. So okay. I would like to welcome my listeners and thank you to joining us today for another episode of our podcast, The Stamp of Approval. I'm Kristin Stampini, co-founder of the Stampini Platinum Real Estate Group with RE/MAX in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm also a certified real estate coach with the Craig Proctor Systems and the owner of Global Virtual Real Estate Systems. You may have seen me on the radio, heard me on the radio. I'm a real estate investor, a national trainer and public speaker, and a certified inside sales agent trainer. The Stamp of Approval was launched just a couple months ago, and it was to educate other realtors, consumers, and other business owners across North America. And each one of our episodes giving a lot of value and content for all my listeners to listen to that has to do with real estate, business, sales, and mindset oriented. So my guest here today is Rudy Kusuma, who is a $1 million agent and broker owner of RE/MAX Titanium, the millionaire agent maker real estate company, dedicated to teaching his agents how to make multiple 6- and 7-figure incomes by selling real estate. Rudy has been named the #1 team leader in California by RE/MAX. Rudy and his team have sold over $1 billion in transactions. He has been awarded multiple top producer awards, including the top 5 team leader at RE/MAX worldwide. That's out of 110,000 real estate agents. RE/MAX Titanium, Rudy Kusuma home selling team has been recognized as 2016, 17, and now 2018 incorporated 5,000 fastest growing private companies in America. Rudy Kusuma is the co-author of the #1 international best-selling book, The Soul of Success, Volume 2 with Jack Canfield. Rudy Kusuma has been featured on ABC, NBC, Fox News networks across the country and on his guest appearance at the Brian Tracy TV show, where he discussed the real estate office of the future. So today, this episode with my friend, Rudy Kusuma, is going to be about tips and tricks on how he built such a successful real estate team in the last 10 years. Okay, Rudy is under 40 years old, and he is #5 worldwide with RE/MAX and has built such a successful team. So welcome, Rudy. How are you?
It's my pleasure to be here, Kristin. Under 40 years old, huh?
Yeah, you just told me that last week. I almost died. And so successful at that. So, I mean, really, you built this real estate team in just about 10 years. That's all, right?
2007 is when I first got my license. I'm 38 years old now. And yeah.
Wow. So tell me where it started, how you started out, and what you've really done, you know, for our listeners, because a lot of the listeners on here are other realtors, you know, and so they want to know how to develop a successful team. So start and tell me where you started from and what you did and how you know, the things, the tools you used and the education you did and how you are where you are today.
All the way from the beginning?
Yes, from the beginning.
So I came here from Indonesia. My parents sent me to school from Indonesia back in 1997. So as I graduated from school in 2001, Kristin, I came across this book. My major was mathematics. I was supposed to do a graduate school at the Cal State LA, getting a full scholarship to teach mathematics. But then somebody gave me a book called The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and on that book, Robert Kiyosaki said that the number one skill in life in how to influence and persuade people is the sales skill. If you know how to sell, then you lead. So I was like, wow. Growing up, I came from a family of high-paid employees. My dad is a high-paid employee. My mom is a stay-at-home mom. I never grew up in an environment that talked about money or business or anything like that. So the first book that I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and truly that book changed the way I think about everything. And I dropped out of school. I sent a message to yes.
Let me just ask you something. What are a couple things that you took away from Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Like immediately. What are a couple things?
The biggest one is basically the number one skill in life. It's sales skill. Everything you do, every politician, everybody who's successful, every family, if you want to lead a successful family, you got to be able to sell, to influence your family. If every pastor is a salesman, every politician is a salesman. So my biggest one was I really truly want to learn. I want to learn on how to improve my sales and skill, the ability to influence, to communicate, to influence and persuade people. That's the whole idea of that book.
Okay, so then after you read that book, you said, now go into what happened after.
So I dropped out of school. I was 21 years old. I graduated from my bachelor's degree in mathematics. I was about to go to graduate school, but I dropped out of school. And you know what I first did after I dropped out of school? I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm dropping out of school and I'm becoming a salesman. My mom cried on the phone. As you know, I'm not sure if you know, for me to go to school here, Indonesia is $1 US is like $15,000, the currency. So it's a lot of money. My family sacrificed. We don't have a lot of money, but then my family always sacrificed for education. They believe the education. So when I call her to say I drop out of school and I become a salesman, she literally cried on the phone for years. For years. Every time she called, she cried. So the first thing I sell was the books. I bought 24 books and I sell door to door. I buy some photo albums, some pens, some candles from Indonesia. I went to swap meet, Kristin. I went to LA, Orange County swap meet every Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning. I have to wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I have to drive to the swap meet to set up my booth and selling that candles. And the reason I'm doing all of that, the reason I sell door to door, the reason I'm selling in swap meet, because I want to do one thing, which is learn how to communicate with people, learn how to sell. And most people don't see that. People think my mom, my family thought I'm just working for money. You know, she cries, she felt like what's going on with me? But it took me, literally, I did that every day for 5 years. Selling door to door, selling in swap meet. I go to trade shows, trying to get a account. And then when I was doing that, I realized I came across a problem. And the problem was the products that I was selling, it came from Indonesia. It was all handmade. And I came across the biggest buyers. Can you imagine, Kristin, after 5 years of doing that, I came across my biggest account, which is from Target or Walmart, I forgot.
Wow.
And they actually want to buy my photo albums that I import from Bali, Indonesia. They want to buy like containers, but obviously the quality control, I couldn't deliver it. And so that's when I came across problem that, man, this product is not, we cannot grow big. So what happened is that then I changed profession, then I changed business. I came across another mentor, somebody who, there's another learning lesson there, association, who you associate with matters. I came across somebody who's extremely successful in business, and he's been importing products. He owned like 100,000 square feet warehouse, and I went into business with him selling promotional products. When I sell promotional products, basically I go door to door selling that pens. You know, promotional products is pen, cups, anything with their company name on it. And I did that for like 1 or 2 years. And then I came across, when I was selling door to door, Kristin, I realized the easiest clients will be real estate brokerage. The reason, because if I go to a real estate brokerage, I just have to make sure the manager or the broker like me, and then they allow me to speak to all their agents. And typically, you know, there's like 100, 200 real estate agents right there on the same place. Right? So I started doing that, and I get the biggest account is the city. I go to City Hall, and so that's how I get started. And then I came across another problem. The problem is, as I was recruiting for sales team to help me selling these pants, these promotional items door to door, then I realized that most people, Kristin, they give up too soon. When when you joined my sales team back then selling pants, I told them I give you leads, and you know what's the leads? It's a yellow page. It's a yellow page, right? So that's what I did. I call every businesses on the yellow page. I book the appointment. I show up. I realized that not everybody want to do what I do, right? I realized that most people want to get the result, but they don't want to plant. They don't want to sow the seeds. And then finally, one of my clients, the real estate broker, offered me to, hey, why don't you get a license? I think you can be good at it. And that's how my transition into the real estate sales industry.
And that was what year?
That was 2006. I got my license in 2007. And that's how I got started. And when I got
tell us what happened when you got started in real estate.
When I first got started in real estate, I realized that my broker, back then there's a company called ERA. So my broker say, okay, first thing to do, congratulations, you got your license. Now they teach me how to do door knocking. I mean, first cold calling. And when I did my cold call the first week, I thought my accent was really bad because like all these people was just mad at me. And they just hang up the phone. And I have this low self-esteem because I thought it's me. Right, so I came to my broker guy and I told the broker guy and says basically, hey, I don't think I can do real estate because everybody that I talked to for the past couple of weeks, they just hang up with me. And then they say, well, maybe cold calling is not your thing. And then the broker introduced me to door knocking. And then I did door knocking for the first day. You should imagine my face when I first did the door knocking, Kristin. I did my door knocking, the guy opened, I was like, oh my gosh. I came to the broker guy. The difference between door knocking and the cold calling, the door knocking, they curse at you in person. So I was like, this is not good. So we have many.
Did you have a script? Did you even have anything to go off of?
No, back then they just asked me to call and door knock. That's it, right? There's not much training. Remember, this is 2007, 2008, Kristin. The whole market crashed. If you remember in 2008, I'm here in Los Angeles. The real estate office had 200 real estate agents when I first got my license. By the time I really got my license, that office moved from 200 real estate agents to like less than 5. So there's a lot of problems. So training me was not their primary objective back then. They're just trying to pay the bills or something. I don't know, right? So they worry with their own thing. I worry with my own thing.
So then what happened? So then you were going door to door, not knowing even anything what you were doing, had no script, and trying to get people to buy or sell real estate with you.
Yes, and then I remember I was like, wow, wouldn't it be ideal if we can, instead of me chasing people, what if we can attract the buyers? So I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, as you remember, in 2001. So, and then I've been hosting a cash flow club. So what I did in 2007, December 2007 was the first time I launched the Rich Dad Investors Club, which still run today. We have about 3,000 members now. But back then, in December 2007, all I did a cash flow club. So we have people coming in to play the cash flow games. And when they play the cash flow games, so typically we have about 20, 30 people, Kristin, they come in to play the game. And then at the end of the game, it's a 2 hours game that teach people about finance, about investing in real estate, about money. At the end of the game, I ask them one question. Which one of you, would you be interested to do this in real life? And usually every week, I always pick up 3, 4, 5 people, investors that say, yes, I want to do this in real life. So that's how we get started in real estate. That's how I get started in real estate, from the cash flow game. And slowly, we have clients every Saturday and Sunday. Actually, I did it 3 times a week. One on a Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, playing the cash flow game.
Wow. Okay. Did you ever think about growing a team?
And then, back then, Kristin, as we had 5, 10 people, I'm talking about clients coming in, then that's when I realized that I think I have an overflow, like I cannot be handling these clients, these buyers myself. So the first person I recruit was an assistant, which is my wife. My wife back then, she had a job. I couldn't afford to pay anybody anything, right? I couldn't even afford to pay for my lunch, so I'm not gonna do. So the first person I recruit was my wife. My wife had a job back then. She was a computer something. She was doing computer technology, customer support. She worked as a customer support for computers. So I told her that I sold her the vision that we're gonna build this team, but I need an assistant, right? So she's helping me as an assistant, doing all the stuff. And then the second hire is another agent, because I realized, remember, there was 5 people in my team. There were 5 people in that office, and most of them have no customers. And I had an overflow of customers that every week I pick up about 5 qualified buyers and sellers thinking of buying. And back then it's all short sale, by the way, the sellers. So I was doing the short sale myself on the listing side. And then I partnered up with 2 other agents back then in 2008, and then they work on the buyer side. That's how the Team New Vision got started. That's the original history of our team.
So then, how did you know how to grow a team? Who were your mentors along the way? And how did you develop a team? And how did you start hiring and building and sales? To become number 5 worldwide with Max. How did you do all of that?
And that's then as we continue to grow the team, we don't know what to do. Then I came across. I remember there's a flyers. Remember, my broker was just busy doing his own thing. There's a flyers on my desk that says the number 1 real estate agent in RE/MAX system. That's called Craig Proctor system. So that's when I came across the number 1 real estate agent in the world, right? So the first time I read that, I was like, okay. All my life, I always try to find somebody who's successful, and then I just wanna follow them. So same thing with my story before, when I found out my friend who is doing promotional items. Same thing in real estate. I found somebody, the number 1 in that industry, and I just align myself with that. I went to first met him in a conference in downtown LA. I think it was 6-7 years ago. 6-7 years ago, that was my first exposure to the Craig Proctor organization. That's when now that completely changed the way our team system works, because now there's some structure in place. So that the team just exploded from that point on.
So then how did you hire from there? So you started with your wife and a couple other people, and then you saw Craig Proctor, that he was number 1. So you said, okay, let me check him out. Let me go find out what he's about. But how did you know how to market and to put in systems and processes and to go and sell? How did you learn how to do all of that?
Yeah, so the first focus is the assistant. That's the biggest key. When we develop, for people who's thinking, real estate agents who want to develop their teams, the first thing is to work on your business. I think most people couldn't get their team take off because they work in the business too much, right? So the first thing I did was hiring an assistant, which is my wife. So that way I can focus on the implementation on the marketing system. The second thing is the outside sales team. So as I was calling, as I was doing, my wife was helping me running the ads. I think back then, I remember it was on Craigslist. I don't think it was on Craigslist. We ran the ads on Craigslist. We ran the ads on the newspapers, on my local newspapers here. And I'm the one who's calling the leads back. I booked the appointments. I went on to listing appointments. And then my wife was helping me with the admin. And then the outside sales team, we first hired 3 outside sales team members to start servicing the clients. And the last and most important than that, Kristin, is the association. Because 5 years ago, I'm not sure if you know, Kristin, as our team was experiencing this quantum leap growth year after year, 5 years ago, I think, my broker in a RE/MAX office was basically, they don't like people building team. That's another problem. It seems like there's always problem, right? As I was going through the story here. So I have another problem. That problem was my broker was keep on coming to me and says, hey, building a team is a waste of time. It's not going to work. You are trying to run the ads on the newspapers. Who read the newspaper? You are wasting your time. You are wasting your money. Every day, can you imagine, Kristin, you walk into your RE/MAX office and every day your broker is literally telling you what you do is a waste of time. And then as I continue to persist, so I learned how to ignore that. And then, but as our team continued to grow, what happened was in my RE/MAX office back then, they had like they had 3 conference rooms. Can you imagine this? Every day, my team take over all those conference rooms every day. So guess what? I have another problem. The real estate agent, the other independent agent in that RE/MAX office, they were really, really not happy. So they're complaining to the broker guy. The broker guy keep on complaining to me. And finally, 6 years ago, I said, okay, that's it.
So what did you do?
So 6 years ago, then we create our own environment. This is where we launched RE/MAX Titanium. We moved to this location, RE/MAX Titanium, about 5 years ago, and the objective back then was just to create an environment so we can just work. We can just focus on serving the client instead of dealing with the traditional agent. And Kristin, that is another learning lesson. I know your audience who's listening to this are people who want to build a team. If you want to build a team or you want to be successful in life in general, you got to be mindful of who you surround yourself with, right? If you're surrounded by toxic environment, then you got to cut it off, because that's one. Then our team, Kristin, once we becoming very, very selective as to who and how we surround ourselves with. Once we change our environment, our team just skyrocket. We used to sell 50 homes 30 homes a year, 50 homes a year, 100 homes a year. Till last year, we sold about 525 homes in a year. It's because the environment. We are very careful on who we let into our circle, right? That's going back to the core values. That's why we developed the core values. When we talk about environment, I'm not just talking about the physical environment. Obviously, the physical environment has to be conducive for growth, but the people that you surround yourself with, right? So what I did 6 years ago, Kristin, I cut that relationship with toxic environment and just focus on developing our teams.
So when you left RE/MAX, because I totally remember that 6 years ago when all that was going on, and how many transactions were you doing at that time?
It seems so long ago. Maybe it's about 50, less than 40, 50 transactions a year, something like that. I don't really remember, Kristin.
Okay, so let's say because I kind of remember that, under 100 transactions a year, 6 years ago. You were doing under 100 transactions, and then you left and you went on your own, and you basically developed your team and opened your own RE/MAX, okay? And now today, number 5 worldwide with RE/MAX, and doing over 550 transactions a year, okay, which is absolutely amazing. I have seen you year to year for the last 3 years do quantum leaps, okay? So that is not easy to do. And that is done by culture, which we talked about in another episode, and it's done by building systems and processes, hiring the right people. So anybody who's on this call listening today, to our listenings and other realtors or even business owners or, just our consumers, give us a couple tidbits, just a couple things that they can do if they wanted to build a team, and maybe a couple tools or recommendations, what they can read, and maybe mentors that they can do. And then tell us where you're at, because you have been so nice to allow people to come and visit you.
Yep, and I think the biggest change, Kristin, the biggest change is your association. Your association really is the biggest, who you hang out with, your environment. If you're right now, if you're watching this and you're a real estate agent, or it doesn't have to be real estate agent, any businesses, right? Who you hang out, if the people around you, if the environment are toxic, it could be family, by the way, right? It could be family. If your family are not supportive, if the other agents in your office are not supportive, if the other, we call it paradigm shift, meaning if you hang out, you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with most of the time. So if you gotta surround yourself with who you wanna be with, right? So if the environment is toxic, then you gotta change that environment. And then you mentioned about some of the books. We talk about systemize this. The E-Myth is one of the top recommendation as far as building systems, right? And then if you're this have nothing to do with real estate, any small business owners who wants to build a team, building a restaurant, building any businesses, the E-Myth by Michael Gerber is basically teaching you how to systemize this. But obviously, all those doesn't work if your environment is not supportive. And then the last but not least, which is these are all equally important, is you gotta find out who is the number one, who is the best of the best in your field, and you gotta be coachable. You gotta be coachable enough to trust the system and to follow it. For me, in real estate, I found the number one real estate agents in the world, and I follow and be coachable. I could have come in, Kristin, you met many people, they met Craig Proctor, and then they argue, they challenge, they fight. I was like, what's the point, right? For me,
So true.
right, we cannot be coachable. You cannot have a team of people who are coachable and humble if you yourself are not coachable and humble. Right, so that's a simple principle. You gotta find somebody, the number one guy in the world. Today, Kristin, today is 2018. Whatever you want in life, you wanna be successful in your marriage, you wanna be successful in your business, you wanna be successful in losing weight, whatever you want, there's already somebody who is successful in it. We don't need to reinvent the wheels. All we need to do, we just have to humble ourselves, be coachable enough to follow a proven system. And then we get to create the environment. Now the environment is very important because cutting the relationship is not easy, but you gotta make a decision what's important for you, right? So, and that environment, you have to protect that. That's not a one-time thing. It's not an event. It's a process. Eventually, we talk about building our team culture. So as when we talk about protecting the environment, Kristin, it's an ongoing till today, right? Till today, we need to be careful who you surround yourself with, the people that you let in as your team continue to grow. That I think becomes more challenging because now you got to make sure that the core values are alive and well, and it's a true core values that people from the inside out, from within them, they truly embrace their core value. This is not something that you dictate from the outside. So those are, I think, the three things that I want to make sure. If you can surround yourself with the right people, and number 2, you find somebody who's successful, align yourself with it, right? And then you create You find an environment that's conducive to success. That's the reason why, Kristin, moving forward in 2019, our team, our Titanium, our office, Titanium Real Estate Network, we wanna create an environment. I think we've been successfully building this team new vision. So now we wanna open up this environment to all the team leaders, because I think one of the biggest challenge for most real estate agents who wants to build a team, Kristin, their environment is not conducive for growth. Their surrounding, can you imagine, Kristin, we are talking about being different, and then they go back to their real estate office and they go back to the 99% of the real estate agents. So it's very hard for them to grow, because every time they go back, their environment is not conducive to that. It's like crabs, let's say you have a bucket of crabs, right? You have a bucket of crabs, and there's one crab that wanna climb out, but what happened with the rest of the crab?
Yeah.
They're pulling it down, they're pulling it down, they're pulling it down. So it's very hard. So when I see that, Kristin, I think I saw there is an opportunity in our marketplace here to be that environment, that the association for the top producing real estate agents to grow and develop their real estate sales team.
Well, and you have done such an amazing job, and I really appreciate you sharing with us today and all the listeners out there on really how it started as growing a successful real estate team and being under 40 years old and being from a different country, as English not being your first language, dropping out of college. I mean, everything that you've done to grow such a successful, amazing team today. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, and because you have, you also have offered to share more with them, and they can also come and see your team in action. How can they do that, Rudy?
Yes, for all the real estate agents, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, or if you're a real estate agent, you want to grow your own real estate sales team, all you need to do, call me direct at 626-789-0159. Again, my phone here in the office, 626-789-0159, so we can give you a private backstage tour on how our real estate sales team works.
And just mention that you heard him on the podcast, okay? The Stamp of Approval podcast. And thank you, all the listeners. Thank you today for joining us. And thank you, my dear friend, Rudy. I appreciate you. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kristin. It has been fun.
Oh, that was awesome, Rudy. I'm going to send you this stuff. I've got somebody else here that is waiting for me. But I'm going to send you all this information. And you were, as I expected, you were amazing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kristin. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Hey guys, how was that? That was the first time I ever did a podcast. I never did any podcast. Hey Kristin, if you're watching this, thank you so much for the opportunity. And last thing I just want to say, find what's your purpose in life. Find the purpose. God created you not to sell homes, right? Find out what's the reason why God put you on planet Earth. Is we are here to serve other people. But when you and I pass away, when you and I die, it's not how many homes we sell, it's how many lives we touch when we are here on earth. Can you imagine when we die and you go up in heaven, and then all the angels in heaven celebrate you, and then God asks you, how many lives have you touched? And then you say, I don't know, I just sell homes. Don't do it like that. Okay, guys, go serve big. If there's anything I can do for you, you're always welcome to call, stop by in the office. And all you need to do is 626-789-0159. Make it a great day.